Hi, this is M3 Nested Loops and Printing. We're going to do the first two exercises together. You should follow along as best you can and just pause the video at every point that you can to write some code yourself, and rather than just type it along, since the point is to do this somewhat interactively. All right, note that main here has all the test functions written for you. We're going to do rectangle of stars, which has its testing function. It's going to call rectangle of stars with a 3, 5, 4, 11, and 6, 2. Now, rectangle of stars here takes a number of rows and a number of columns, and it prints asterisks in that shape. Here, 3 rows, 5 columns. So we're going to print R rows, C columns. That's our goal. We've got to use nested loops to do that. No fair using string multiplication, because that would defeat the purpose of this practice. All right, let's get going. When you do printing, printing occurs row by row, just the way printing on a console works. So our outer loop is going to be going through the rows. So for K in range R, because we're going to have R rows. And then we're going to have some columns. So let's do another loop for that. For each row, we're going to have C columns. So we'll say for J in range C. Now at this point, even if I was doing a complicated problem, I would print something or another, maybe an asterisk, even if asterisks weren't what I was supposed to do with the end result, but I would print an asterisk to see whether I get the right number of them. In this problem, we're supposed to actually print asterisks, so it's particularly easy. Now I've made a mistake, but I'm going to go ahead and run it here. And so I'm going up to the test, rectangle of stars, and I see that I'm supposed to get a 3 by 5, but instead I got a all line. Problem there was that I forgot to do the end equal quote there, where I print my asterisk, but inside the J loop, inside going across a row, I don't do the new lines that are there by default. I've still made a mistake, but I'm going to run it anyhow. And I see that this time through the test that over here, that they're all one row now. So then I remember that at the end of a row, I've got to do a print to get me to the next row. So inside a row, I'm printing the asterisk without any new lines, but at the end of each row, I print a single new line to get to the next line. So there we are there, and I'll take my test cases. 3 by 5, 4 rows, 11, yes. 6 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 1, 2, yep. Passed my tests, and I believe that I have the code correct. Just for fun, I'll show you something else. My computer tells me that I'm not using variable K, which is true, I'm not. So I'm going to put a special variable, underscore there, and underscore there. That's just a crazy variable, and it just lets me acknowledge that I'm not using those variables and the warning messages go away. You don't have to do that, just thought I'd show you while I was here. All right, let's turn to the next to-do. And this one I'm going to give you some more time to do yourself. So this one is to print a triangle of stars with R rows, and the first row have 1 column, 1 star, then 2 stars, then 3, then 4, etc. So pause the video at this point and decide what your first line would be to get R rows. Okay, I hope you've seen that you write something like this for K in range R. That gives you R rows. And now you know you need a loop for the columns. The first time through you need 1 asterisk, the second time 2, then 3, and so forth. So see if you can write that loop that goes, let's use J, say, in range, and you figure out what has to go there to get this thing to work. Pause the video and see what you want. Well, let's see. I hope you've realized that as K, the number of rows, the row number increases, J, the number of columns, has to increase. So we need some function of K here that increases as K increases. So I'm going to try the simplest thing there, K. It's not quite right, but I'm going to try it out. And put an asterisk there. My end equal quote, quote, and then my print to go from the next row. And let's try that out and see what happens. Come over here and we see that in the test case, There's the rectangles. Here's the triangle stars. In the test case, well, the first row was supposed to have 1 asterisk, but it had none. And then we have 1, 2, 3. We're off by 1. We've got an off by 1 error here. Pause and see the video and see if you can figure out what to do to fix this. All right. I hope that you figured out that this one here is there's a problem. When k is 0, j goes in range 0, as it's written. It goes 0 times on that first row. Well, that's not what we want. We want it to go 1 time. That suggests that we had 1 right there. So when k is 0, j will go 1 time, 1 asterisk. When k is 1, j will go 2 times, 2 asterisks. Looks promising. Let's try it out. And here's our tests up here, triangle of stars. And we see we get 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. 1 row, yep. 3 rows, yep. 6 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks good. So that will do our job. Again, if you don't like the warning messages that mine gives, yours may not. You just replace it by an underscore to tell the computer it's not using it. It's up to you. It doesn't matter whether you call it that strange variable underscore or something else. To review, what you do is you have a loop that goes through the rows, and inside that a loop that goes through the columns. That's because printing happens within a row across the columns left to right, and then so forth. You decide what you want to print. Well, first you print an asterisk or some character to see whether you get the right number of them. If it's a square kind of shape, you'll have one variable there and another variable there. But if it's a sort of triangular shape where the number of columns depends on the row, as in this example, the expression right here will be some function of that expression. Indeed, this one in the previous example, the only real difference is that I have k plus 1 there, where I had c on the previous problem. Well, good luck with your problems. As always, ask questions as needed.